how can I make you happy? So my relationship now is, what we're both doing is, I make me happy, you make you happy. And then we find ways to kind of make each other happy on our low days. And it exists, guys. I made videos about this, taking responsibility to make yourself understand your value. And I realized that, I'm like, and you don't have to fully value yourself, okay? You don't have to be like, I'm the best, self-love, level 1,000,000. No. Okay, you don't have to do that. Just jump on the train of finding it. So I didn't fully accept and love myself when I found the partner I was with now, but I jumped on the train. There was a train of toxic crap of believing I was crazy and not good enough. And then there was this new train of, hey, there was a new train of, hey, no, you're not toxic. This is actually, you're going to find self-love and self-value. Okay? And then you jump on that train, and then choo-choo, yeah, exactly. You jump on that train and you start the journey. You don't have to fully love yourself. You don't have to fully jump into the whole self-accept that good day out of you and make you that doesn't make sense. What about if you're feeling really great? Or think about it. Imagine if you're walking around and you're actually sad that day. Okay, you wake up and you're like, I'm feeling kind of like, do you know, I have had quite a few insecure moments with the boyfriend, the guy I'm with now, okay? Just telling you. I have had insecure moments with my exes that were toxic, and I've had insecure moments with the person I'm with now. But there's two different kind of people. If I'm feeling insecure with a toxic person, they will not help me remove that feeling. They will make me feel like I am crazy for being insecure. Okay? A non-toxic person will make you feel comforted. Will say, hold on here. What's the deeper issue? What's going on here? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. What's making you feel like this? They're not going to get mad at you. Will comfort you and say, hold on, what's going on? So the same thing applies to me. Like me. If, let's say my boyfriend at the present time would feel insecure about something, comes up to me and says, I don't like this, men and this and that, I would literally say, take my phone, take anything. But if I was toxic and I was flirting and cheating or doing things that I felt guilty and bad about, I would say, no, don't take don't look at, no, why are you doing this to me? Why you gotta come up, but this takes two people, right? Both people have to be in the non-toxic. So if we go internally and find the value, because by the way, narcissists, toxic people who have all this stuff, they will come in to your life, and whatever you feel about yourself, they will amplify it. Okay? So if any negative feeling that you feel about yourself, if you feel that you don't have much value and you're not good enough, they can see it. It's like this weird sense that they have. It's like, how dogs smell fear? Narcissists can smell, oh, that girl doesn't have much value. Oh, that girl, she doesn't like herself physically. That girl, oh, she's been cheated on. The reason I talk about my past, I actually spoke with my current partner, and I asked him, I said, I don't want to talk and get back into the toxicity of the past because I've moved forward. But then, you know what he told me, my boyfriend now, who's very wonderful, he told me, in order to help others, sometimes you're going to have to tell your story. So people can understand that it's possible to heal, it's possible to find self-value, it's possible, and you're helping others by sharing your story. So the thing is I don't cry about my story anymore. I'm happy I went through it because it made me who I am today. So he's saying, share your story if you have to. So he's like, if that's the way to help heal others, You have to share your story, but great people in their lives, men and women, and use it to say, oh my God, this is who I am today because of my past. Or we can say, this is who I am today because of my past. Just the tone that we're using, right? Feeling, because the level that I felt stuck, because I was like, oh my God, do you know how hard it is? So anybody who's going through it, do you know how hard it is to live with a toxic person? It was really toxic where I was. I said, I'm gonna master valuing myself. So the universe is going to give me what I'm giving me. I'm giving me love. I'm giving me attention. I'm going to give me value. So every chance I got, and trust me, it was hard. It was hard because I'm trying to love myself. Meanwhile, I had a father that was toxic. So when I was with my dad, he was calling me names. He was toxic. I had a ex that was toxic. I had a couple of friends that were toxic. And I had all these people making me feel like I was shit. And I'm like, you know the flower that grows in a rock? You ever see that? There's posts all over. Sometimes there's like a flower in the middle. Do you ever see that? You're driving and then it's like concrete and then there's one flower. That's what I had to do. I'm like, I'm going to be that fucking flower in the rock. There's no possible way for a flower to grow here. No way. I'm going to be this little, I'm going to fight it. I'm going to do it. And because I did it, and by the way, for those who don't know, I struggled with like a terminal blood disease. So the guys that I was with were like, you can never do everything possible to heal my mind. Everything I can. I bought every book. I went on Amazon. I watched every DVD, every documentary. Every time I was alone, I started doing therapy. I found somebody, I went online, I found I found Teal Swan, this girl, I found everything that I could find that was free, because I was broke. Have you ever gotten angry? That's the dark side. Now, what happens is if we just accept it, and we're like, that's okay, it's fine, then we're friends with it. We're like, a lot of us are like, well, I like my dark, I don't mind it. I don't mind crying, I don't mind getting angry. And those people usually, well, if you're somebody that rarely feels sad and rarely, because we're supposed to have the same emotions. We're supposed to cry and be happy. Anger, excitement. Anger and excitement is similar. The same feeling. Happiness and sad. You're like, it's very similar. It's just one of us makes us uncomfortable. Okay? One of us makes us really, and we don't like to feel it. But what happens is that when we learn to suppress the shadow, which is only half of ourselves, okay? We suppress the shadow self. What happens when we suppress it? We're pushing it away and we're ignoring it, but it keeps coming up. And by the way, what happens, guys, at night? When you sleep at night, you're healing, right? Do you know that when you sleep and you close your eyes, your body regenerates, fights inflammation, hormones, melatonin is released. We heal at night. If you have a cut, or you have a back pain, do you ever, like the doctors, get plenty of water and plenty of rest. When the doctors say you have a cold, what do you do when you're sick? You rest, you sleep. So it's the same thing of sadness and anger and all the bad feelings. What happens is that's our body healing. We got a trauma, an emotional trauma. Physical trauma is like this. Physical trauma is like, I cut myself. I need to heal, put a band-aid, take care, rest it, nobody touch my veil. Same thing with an emotional trauma happens, and then we cry. We get sad, we get angry, and we're healing, and then we can become happy after. That's it. Then you go and it's the same as nighttime. It's the same thing. But some people are like, no, I cannot cry. I cannot be happy. I cannot. And all of a sudden, their relationships are suffering, and then so if you can't cry, that means that you're somebody that is seriously suppressed, you're negative. So shadow work should be done with the therapist. If you can't cry at all and you're not able to cry, you need to do shadow work with a therapist. Because if you do shadow work on your own, it brings up feelings and PTSD and traumas. So shadow work should be done with a professional, either a therapist or a shadow coach. Like one-on-one, you need to really heal that, because most of us, if we suppress so much, crying is well, there's toxic positivity. So that what happens is when you suppress the crying, that means it's toxic positive. You're too positive. It's fake. What happens is you create diseases in your body. If you cut yourself and you don't heal it, and you don't want to deal with it, you don't want to cry, you hurt yourself. I got a cut. I'm going to hurt. I'm going to cry. It hurts. It hurts. I cut myself. It hurts. Okay? So if I don't deal with it, it gets infected. It gets infected. And then if I still don't deal with it and I still suppress it, I'm going to lose my arm. I'm going to lose my hand because it gets so infected that I lose my hand. The same thing happens with us if we don't deal with our sadness and we don't cry, we don't get angry, or we suppress or whatever. It gets infected. Our relationships get infected. Our body gets infected. We get more sick. We get back pain, neck pain, headaches, everything, because we're so used to suppressing that everything, it stings. It has to go somewhere. If you don't cry, where's it going? Tears have to go somewhere. So if you're internalizing it, okay? So if you can't, then you have to go see somebody, a professional that will bring it to the surface. Then there's toxic negative. Toxic negative, what happens is you're addicted to negative thoughts. Just like addicted to cigarettes or to alcohol, you're addicted to negative thoughts. Your brain is just used to thinking negative. So you just go, oh, negative. Oh, everything's going so great. No, it's not. Bad things are gonna happen because they always happen to me, and bad things. And you know what? Hi, my name is Tanya. I'm a recovering toxic negative person. Hi, my name is Tanya. I'm also a recovering positive toxic person because I used to be extremely, extremely negative, very negative. When I was young, I saw the darkness in the world. I thought that Earth was hell. I was like, this is hell. When we die, we go to heaven. Like, when I was young, that's what I used to think because I had so many issues, things happened to me. Okay? And then I found the law of attraction. And I'm like, oh, if I become positive, I'm going to attract positive. This is great. Push down the negative. Suppress, suppress, suppress. And then I was like, I'm a light worker. Everything is great. And then all of a sudden, bad things were happening. And I'm like, no, I'm going to be positive. I'm not going to let this affect me. I'm just going to be positive. And then more bad things were happening. And all of a sudden, the doctor's like, by the way, you have, what's it called? We have to remove your appendix. It's about to burst. It's going to affect you. You may die because you had a kidney transplant. And I'm like, what? Oh, yeah. And I'm like, and it was painful and everything was like, and I'm like, I gotta be positive. I gotta be positive. Okay, let me find the positive. What's the I couldn't find the positive and I lost it. And all of a sudden, I was yelling at people. I was like, okay, it's enough. And then I started getting mad at my daughter when she was little for little things. Everything was irritating me. I was like, I had my kidney transplant. I have a kidney in my stomach now because when you get a transplant, they put it in your stomach. My kidney was hurting me all the time. All of a sudden, doctors were like, you have endometriosis right there in your stomach, right behind your kidney, so we can't operate you. Otherwise, you're going to die. And I'm suppressing all this shit to understand that there's no negative, no positive. There's a middle, right in the middle. Okay? Right there. So crying is okay, and I cry. And if somebody shames me for crying, I sometimes tell them to fuck off. I do. I'm like, just because you don't know how to deal with your feelings, don't tell me how to deal with my feelings. So I'm like, I cry. Let me cry. I'm crying. I'm being vulnerable. Okay? So if you can't cry and you just don't want to, then that's your reality. And by the way, if you don't want to believe what I'm saying and this doesn't resonate with you, then you're right. What you believe is true. By the way, do you guys know that? Everything that you guys believe is real. What you believe is real. Always. What I believe is also real. That's my reality. What you believe is your reality. What somebody else believes, that's their reality. Everything is their reality. So if you feel, I can't cry, I can't do it, all right, don't cry. You can't do it. Remember, what we project onto the world is a reflection of us. So maybe you don't respect other people's beliefs. This is possible sometimes, because what we project onto the world, what we think that the world is not giving us, is us. So maybe sometimes we don't believe other people's beliefs. You have to let them believe it too, right?